The synthetic oracle presents Iran's mountains hide something ancient. No one talks about it. 3,000 years of demons, cursed kings and stolen children buried in the oldest mountains of the Middle East. Long before there were borders, before there were maps, there was the land called Iran, and its mountains remembered everything. For thousands of years, storytellers passed down tales of what lived in the high peaks, in the frozen valleys, in the dark places where no traveler dared sleep alone. These were not simple fairy tales, they were warnings. And tonight, we listen. Rising nearly 19,000 feet above the Iranian plateau, Mount Damavand is the highest volcano in all of Asia, and according to legend, it is a prison. The smoke drifting from its ancient crater, locals say, is not volcanic gas. It is the breath of something chained beneath the stone, something still alive. His name was Zahhak, and in the Shahnameh, the great book of kings, he is the most terrifying ruler this land ever knew. He was not born a monster, was made one. When the devil kissed his shoulders, 2 serpents erupted from the flesh, hungry, alive, and impossible to destroy. Cut off one head, and it grew back. Every single night, the serpents demanded to be fed, their food of choice, human brains. At every single night, Zahhak obeyed. For 1,000 years, his reign of terror stretched across the land. 1,000 years of screams, 1,000 years of darkness, until the hero Faridun rose against him. He did not kill Zahhak because killing him would have released a plague upon the world. Instead, he dragged him to Damavand and sealed him deep within the mountain's heart. But chains, no matter how strong, eventually weaken. Damavand still smokes. It still breathes. Some say it's only a matter of time. Travel west from Damavand into the thick forests of Mazandaran, and you will find a different kind of darkness, one that moves. This is the land of the Div, ancient demonic beings that predate the memory of man. Neither fully spirit nor fully flesh, they are something far worse than either. Towering figures with great curved horns and tusks like wild boars, the Div hunger for human flesh. But their true power lies not in their bodies. It lies in something you would never expect. The Div are creatures of inversion. They do the opposite of what they are told. They sleep in daylight. They wake when darkness falls. And with darkness, they grow stronger. Hey, you never see a Div before it reaches you. You feel it first, a sudden sharp drop in temperature. Then the smell like something dead and buried deep underground. But of all the Div ever spoken of across Persia, none was feared more than the Divi Sepid. The White Demon of Mazandaran. When King Kavas led his army north to challenge him, the White Demon never drew a blade. He called the sky itself to war. Hail, boulders, and uprooted trees came crashing down like the fist of God. The king, his generals, his greatest warriors, all blinded, all captured, all thrown into an underground pit to rot in the dark. It took Rustam, the mightiest hero in all of Persian mythology, 7 legendary trials just to reach the White Demon's lair. And only by drinking the demon's blood could the blinded king ever see again. The fear of the Div ran so deep, it warped everyday life. White hair, pale skin, even these were seen as signs of demonic blood. When the great warrior Sam's son was born white-haired, his own father abandoned him on a mountaintop to die. That child's name was Zel, and it was not death that waited for him on that mountain. It was the simurgh, part dog, part peacock, part lion. A creature so ancient, it had watched entire civilizations rise and collapse 3 times over. Nesting at the very summit of the Alborz range, the simurgh took pity on the abandoned child. She raised him as her own, feeding him, protecting him, filling him with wisdom older than any written language on earth. She was not evil, but she was terrifying in her power. Every 1,700 years, she would set herself ablaze in sacred fire and be reborn from the ashes, a cycle of death and resurrection that no mortal mind could fully comprehend. She was not the only great creature of the Alborz peaks. In the territory beside her own lived the chamrosh, wolf-bodied, eagle-headed, with wings wide enough to block out the sun. In the Avesta, the sacred Zoroastrian scripture, the chamrosh is a divine guardian. When foreign invaders pillaged the land of Iran, The angel bird sends it plunging from the highest summit to seize the enemy in its talons, the way an eagle plucks grain from an open field. Ash! But not every danger in these mountains came from creatures of ancient myth. Some horrors were far more intimate, far more personal. In the villages of rural Iran, isolated, cut off from the outside world by walls of snow and stone, a different kind of terror kept mothers awake through the night. Every night. Its name was Al, and it came for the most vulnerable women in the pain of childbirth, and the newborns who had yet to take their first full breath. Tall, impossibly thin, legs too long for its body, skin the color of dried blood. The owl moved through shadows without making a sound. Its purpose was singular and horrifying, to steal the liver of a laboring mother, or to snuff the life from a newborn before anyone could notice it had ever been there. Generations of grandmothers placed iron objects beside every newborn's cradle. Iron, they believed, was the one thing the owl could not bear to touch. The placenta was buried in the ground with iron pressed against it. A ritual repeated in village after village, mountain after mountain. A desperate plea made in the dark. Move far enough south, past the mountains, and into the vast desert interior, and the nature of the darkness changes again. It spreads. Here, in the ancient Persian texts that were later translated and carried across the world, was born one of the most terrifying creatures in all of world mythology. The Manticore. The body of a lion. The face of a human, grinning. A tail lined with venomous spines. It could launch like arrows. It was faster than any living creature in the ancient world. It left no remains behind, as it devoured its victims completely, bones and all. When Persian travelers brought word of this creature to the Greeks, and later to medieval Europeans, it became a universal symbol of pure and unrestrained evil, painted on church walls as a warning to the faithful across an entire continent. And in the places where no mountain shields you, where the desert stretches endlessly under a moonless sky, the jinn begin to move. Neither mortal nor immortal, the jinn exists in the spaces between the human world and something far older. They inhabit lonely places, abandoned ruins, empty crossroads, the hollows of trees no one has touched in a century. They are not always hostile, but they are always unpredictable. And the ancient Persians were clear about one thing. You never enter a desolate place after dark without speaking their name in respect. Never. In the southern region of Inshar, far from the great mountains, a creature even darker than any jinn haunted the mind of every parent. Its name is Ptr Jolk. Almost nothing is recorded about what it looks like, only what it does. It enters homes at night, in absolute silence, and it takes children. No warning, no struggle, no signs, just an empty bed in the morning. Even today in some communities, this name is spoken only in whispers, as though saying it at full volume might be enough to summon something listening in the dark. Every mountain range, every dense forest, every open desert, every isolated village cut off from the world by snow. Iran is a land layered in story, and every single story carries a shadow. But here is what ties all these legends together. They are not just stories about monsters. They are maps. Maps of the fears that shaped one of the oldest continuous civilizations the world has ever seen. Fear of tyranny, Zahhak. Fear of invasion, the White Demon. Fear of the fragility of new life, the owl. Fear of the open road and the empty dark, the jinn. Every monster stands in for something real. Every civilization builds walls around what terrifies it, in stone, in law, in story. These are Iran's walls. They have held for 3,000 years. And somewhere beneath the summit of Damavand, if you believe the old stories, the oldest wall of all is still holding. The chains are still there. Zahhak is still breathing. The mountain still smokes. And in Iran, they have always said, some chains were never meant to last forever. The mountains remember. Do you? If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and leave a comment below.